And this is Hiram Sims, the founder of the Sims Library of Poetry, the only poetry library in Los Angeles. And Hiram, give us the tour. Show us what this library is all about.
All right, so this is the Lamb Surrounding Private Writing Room, so people can reserve this space to come write poetry, and then they could, to start their poem, they can write a cento poem and take a line off the wall, and then, start their own work.
And this room is full of poetry all over the walls. This is fantastic.
Yeah. All right, follow me. That's the bathroom.
Okay.
Don't poop at the library. That's so these are the book stacks here. And we got over 6,000 books of poetry.
Wow.
Collections, individuals, periodicals, anthologies, children's poetry, textbooks, Latinx, African American shows, chapbooks, CDs, DVDs, all of that. So please come, 2702 West Florence. We'd love to see you.
My name is Florence Blvd. This is Freedom 53, and this is for Poetry Renaissance. Nightmares start off as innocent dreams. Nightmares' anger burns hot, so it seems. His dreams can turn into a nightmare, but his mind's eye's not aware, scared. If he's trying to rhyme or reason, just to commit subconscious treason, his mouth can't belch out an answer. Rude speech, brave, no one can master. His soul was burned by sunlight. Those goals were lit by dark moonlight. And his thoughts were tapped by his words. His war made him against sound the absurd. Where does his non-tomorrow begin? Those real yesterdays have some more sin. Today, he knew he couldn't win. And he takes all the cannabis smoke in. His false starts, fast times were getting lost. He thought he was the boss without any cost. Only his bureaucracy continues to sustain him. His mind's democracy continues to abuse him. Now his life thesis is a sad joke. He cannot evaluate any form of hope. He wasted large portions of time to the worst of him. His ignorant ocean of drama will not allow him to swim. As blind ambition is specific, it needs no permission. His language or profanity is off course in transition, as an undercurrent of his truth affects poor decisions. Freedom.
Hello, my name is Kurt Witt. This poem is called Lockdown Rock, and this is for Poetry Renaissance. I am a rock that has been plucked out of its habitat and stuck, indoors, enclosed, enthralled in a bitter bit of misery, not enticed by any advice or price of delivery. I am a rock, vacated from nature and taken there only for brief moments on lonely days, which seems to be most days. I've been inside for too long, and no one seems to notice me. I'm sitting on top of books, notebooks, and pages of poetry. I'm trying to hold it down, feeling so heavy all around. But I'm a big, beautiful rock. Immutable and from good stock, precious as any gem you hope to find, bright as any crystal could ever shine. I'm more polished than any stone in a crown, more magnificent than any boulder found. I am a dazzling, long-lasting, fascinating rock, pulled out of my environment with expired culture shock. When outdoors, I am completely covered, like someone is trying to smother me, trying to hide the wonder of me. But nobody wonders of me. I am completely silent, restricted from what used to be my nature by a tyrant. Nobody asks about my past and how I used to be a part of a cairn. I wasn't a small part either. I held up other rocks, a heavy, load-bearing rock of achievement. Now in bereavement, I sit with thoughts I have of the past. But the old ways are dead, they could not last. I used to have a blast, I hung out with geodes. I saw diamonds get formed and fool's gold placebos. Now I sit, unable to move, and barely hanging out at all. Waiting for the sick world to heal. Just me, behind a wall.
My name is Ron Down here at the Sims Poetry Library. The name of my poem is Shoot the Sheriff with Cameras, after Robert Nesta Marley. I'm here for the Poetry Renaissance. Marley shot Sheriff John Brown with lyric bullets, but he didn't shoot deputies. Youth jury sheriff's deeds and say sheriffs work hard, in split seconds decide lives. I recalled hound-led slave catchers, bloody brutality by design, like a tough truck, 400 years American made. Sheriff shot Avery Cody's back, riddled like holes, stiff, holy in Compton's Big Donuts, Hub City, the LA County heartbeat called a backwater. Numb, I'm always staggering between my migraines and heart, small, large, like Alice in Wonderland. No video shot when sheriff's knee, Darren Burley's black back, a knee near his neck snap, like when Granny euthanized chickens for dinner. Sheriffs wrestle a woman capturing protests, shouts, fuck police, close banks, shutter stores. Sheriffs self-investigate, spin yarn like Guatemalans weed weeples on fine backstrap looms. White nativism doesn't much change. Old John Brown's body lies moldering in his grave, the abolitionists who said perish human race foes. I shout, hallelujah, shoot sheriffs, pierce their still souls, light them once again with cameras. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ayana Chanel. This poem is titled What's for Dinner, and this is for Poetry Renaissance. I saw it on the news. Headlines in bold red on every single channel. Emergency, emergency. The hungry are eating the rich. Cameraman pans to white men with missing limbs fleeting from the scenes. I watched a sister climb the White House fence. She must have been hungry for a politician. There are Benzes not knowing where to park, driving past us like they are suddenly scared of the money that they stole from our starving hands, but for us, huh? This footage was exclusive advertising for audiences of all ages. It's a man-eat-man world, and now we can all get a taste. Now let me ask you, have you ever tasted a stockbroker? Fresh off of Wall Street, coated in a nice Armani suit with a Rolex on the side. I have. My mother caught him trying to escape from the trade center and grabbed him as quick as she could. He tried to pay her off. Isn't it funny? When it's his money, does it suddenly become so dispensable? Before this, it was lobster and steak every night for people like him, living lavish and large. They never needed to care about the rest of us. In comparison, every meal I have ever eaten suddenly becomes so bland. But now, being poor never tasted so rich.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Banks, and my poem that I'll be sharing with you all today is He Taught Me How to Fish. Study hard, be diligent, intelligent, and creative. An affirming send-off at the juncture of our departures. With one hand on the wheel, one hand waving goodbye, he gives me permission to say hello to a new day of learning. Day upon day, year upon year, my dad utters these words, creating a ripple effect, surpassing my surface and expanding my self-worth and pride. Vowels and consonants that he strings together with the bass of his tune unite in my eardrums. A chorus that speaks power into my being and releases excellence out of me. My dad, my wise man, who delivers words that transcend galaxies. Words he shares with a smile whose radiance competes with the SoCal sun. Mahogany cheeks that rival the yellow star, eclipsing its shine with his melanin glow. He encouraged Nabi Jazzy to stop conforming to fit into the sandbox. whose frame refused to let the specks of my gifts come out and play. He yelled, "Cut!" during my awkward stage so that my melancholy jazz production couldn't manifest from the printed screenplay. He dipped me into the artistic pools of Maya, Jill, leaving Jasmine drenched with the force of our black wave makers. When jazz silenced herself, he let the pen woo with its glides, acknowledging my feelings with every droplet of ink. I look upon his kind eyes framed as storybooks to my soul, stare at his eyeglasses and see a heroine glaring back at me, an empowered version of myself in the reflection of his lenses. In a world where this little black girl can feel lost, unseen, and devalued, he taught me the hell my voice can raise, the heaven my words can form, the imprint my echo can make on this earth for decades to come. I call him Papa Bear for a reason. He takes pride in raising this cub, brought me to the river and taught me how to fish, to dip my paws in icy water and discover a meal I can feast on for years. This is for Poetry Renaissance.
Okay, my name is Mike Bonifer. My poem is called White Men My Age. This is for the Poetry Renaissance. When we hear over the intercom in our 5th grade classroom that JFK has died in Dallas, class clown Billy Hinkle moans, clutches his heart, and falls to the floor with a cry of, "They got me!" White men my age grew up listening to assassinations broadcast over intercoms and got really good at clowning any pain that's not our own. With a jockstrap as his surgical mask and a Playboy centerfold screening the patient's face, Thule initiates a freshman into the marching band by shaving the kid's crotch with a straight razor in the back of a shaky moving bus, glues clumps of lathered pubes onto the shaved raw region with rubber cement, has the frosh sit pants on while cement hardens from Cleveland to South Bend. Later that night, the initiate will be strapped down and screaming as an infirmary doctor cuts cement from raw skin with a scalpel and benzene. White men my age got away with this shit. We revel in rituals that cover up our truths with jockstraps and centerfolds. Men in my hometown so polite, hold their tongues, wait 17 years till after he's passed to say a pastor molested them when they were young. Get his name blasted at last off the church, his limestone statue pulled down and ground into sand. Trusting authority is the biggest mistake white men my age make. The second biggest is letting them get away with it till after they're dead. White men my age nickname all their friends. I mean, look at me, I go by Bonnie, and I got Dip, Chip, Cuss, Beetle, Bondi, Beaver, Heg, Weasel, Possum, Gopher, Snip, Chip, Colonel, Kunk, KO, Schmuck, Bagu, Bulls, Gasman, Ghost. I could go on all night. I do appreciate this particular aspect of white men my age. Grammy built a hospice to care for the dying poor. Big Al the fireman died by saving a woman from a fire. Dwayne shares Clemente's story in his Pittsburgh museum. Mac was conceived on the Super Chief has a plan for bringing Amtrak back. Norby protested Vietnam and Nixon. His daughter married Kofi Kingston. These men are among the most beautiful humans I've ever met. And yet, if you have not heard from a dude since college and one day he pops up on Facebook to give you shit for preferring nuns to popes, or Ganesh to Jesus, or meditating to praying, or protests to guns, or miles to Mick, or immigration to incarceration, or anything to bacon, or LA to where you came from, that dude will definitely be a white man my age. And therefore, before I conveniently forget, that guy my age who called a young black woman by the wrong name in a meeting because he saw the color of her skin and not the content of her character, that was me. White men my age do not come to the world stage on Wednesday nights. I think you know why. I'll say it anyway. Too many truths here they don't want to face. Too many reasons reparations are owed for crops sowed by folks they have excluded from the harvest. Too many stories told here of young black men doing time to fill quotas made by men with skin the color of mine. Too many pens here put to more potent purposes than penning red lines through these neighborhoods. White men my age cannot take the heat in a foundry where poets forge lived stories by the fire of spoken word into rhythm-stamped beams of illumination, where rituals are made not of centerfolds and jockstraps, but dactyls and iams. where stories first written on black backs by men as white as me revisit us in a new season with a different destiny. White men my age do not come to the world stage on Wednesday nights. Maybe that is why I do.
Hi, my name is Brenda Vaca, and I am reading Riot of Roses for Poetry Renaissance. Riot of Roses. Like the blooming of roses, we riot to life. It is sunset. The sun rides low and the horizon so low we can't see it. New moon, 3 days old, chases him, and Venus rides high, witnessing all of it. Birds tucked into the safety of trees chatter. It must be story time just before bed, and the energy of the young ones shakes the leaves on the branches. Barking dog in the distance declares, I am here. The moon insists in her persistent cycle, the way she comes and the way she goes, the way she grows heavy in the belly, and the way she surrenders to her waning. She is always whole in her fragmentation, even if she cannot be seen. The time for withering is over. This is the birth of a sunflower. This is the origin of the wind. A new life is waiting, knocking at our door, comes in dramatic like birth pangs. There is no way we can deny it or postpone it. The mothers understand, the daddies know. Control as we might the outcome. Life is most unpredictable. Like a riot of roses, vibrating color, fantastic. One day furled up tight in a bud, the next day bursting open at the rising sun. We bloom to life when Kairos arrives, beckoning, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Daniel Anaya, the title of the poem is Going Green. This is for Poetry Renaissance. Going green. Trees make love the way people do. Let me sing you a little song. Our leaves are going to weave together, branches are going to intertwine. My trunk is getting bigger, my roots dig deeper in the dark. Going green. If you leave the two of us alone together, pretty soon you're going to have a park. Going green. Pyramus and Thisbe ate a mulberry back when they were pearly white. Some of these things happen pretty early. Some of it might sound stark. Going green. Trees love to bloom and flower. It's what gives them the power to make the world a better place. Bees and flowers do it at all hours. Call it their saving grace. Going green. The force that drives the green fuse through the bower, plankton into overload, carbon dioxide, photosynthesis, banging out the hours, my head's gonna explode. I love to watch Whitman's Leaves of Grass, Durnay creeping rhizomes. I love to while away the hours, watching the green grass grow. Going green. A couple of plants for breakfast, lunch, and dinner is all that you really need. Each one of us is really very lucky. Inside of us we carry the seed, or egg, going green. Some say it all started in a garden back when the world was young. Eve said to her darling angel baby, hey Adam, let's have some fun. Plant my seed, going green. Let's do it the way plants and trees do it, sweet and long and slow. Letting my garden grow, make it last all night. Let's do it every single hour, honey, let your feelings show. Plant my seed, going green. Let me be your jolly bee, dust your stamen with my pollen, bearing fruit is part of their charm. Plants are kind of like a doctor, they promise to do no harm. Honey flower, let's go back to the farm, do no harm, going green.
My name is Lisbeth Koyman. My poem is Why the Nightingale Sings for Dawn Wooten, and this is for Poetry Renaissance. At the top of an ebony tree, in the forest of our shared pains, a nightingale sings a lament for our brown selves, again thrown against each other in the novel virus-spreading vortex of dark cages. Lament for our uteri, bleeding after rape, after the agony of having children taken away, dysmenorrhea, the red agony of exhausted ovaries swallowing daily cocktails of misogyny and xenophobia inside icy concentration camps. On surgical tables, healthy ovaries mistaken for cystic ones, then both removed from semi-etherized female brown women unable to refuse treatment, forever, unable to understand their fruitless future of muted mamas and abuelas, brown women, unable to stand up for their own humanity, brown children taken away with the precision of a scalpel, forever unconceivable here and there, even when sent back to where they came from. On top of an ebony tree, in the forest of our shared pains, a nightingale sings in the dawn of our uprisings.
Hello, my name is Anastasia Finald. This is my poem, Our Meaning, and this is for Poetry Renaissance. We're our own definition, our meaning shaped round, top and bottom heavy, a smile disguised silhouette where we keep all our cunning. Webster's doesn't know us, our entry written over in new ink, but I take my Times New Roman font and live in the space between the spaces. We're a striking bullet points nestled in paragraphs. You can't look us up in the index, but you'll stumble across us in the anger that rests between helpful and helpless. We thrive in our frustration, flipping pages with a stinging paper cut, our blood mixed with printed ink, our legacy staining the dictionary. We're our own definition. The meaning changes every day. Who we are tomorrow has no synonym. Who we are today is original. We define ourselves in our own language.